Ajomo akwa badeba Amanyosem dwumedie so na yawe sabre sima bi onu numa pa ye anwumre nonko no ho agopramaso for afa ye local blasters akansi a ekoso no nyankopon adaroma o matimi qualify to the next stage ye bompa ye say ja the blasters akese antumi anye no chan yi do monye fama ye na hurisi kakra man kama ye se bibia nema bia o ma ye ni gi nyina football say me ye ni je na dia reho na ebre ye si kasem nye ye inflation nye ye debt ekoso you see the debt exchange bibia ya rehosem blasters mun kenya mu kakra na ahorisi emfamra na nwumre yesi nkunya ni mpanyimfo akukudam na ebedi nkomo se de ye kano no na ya wo no ya ba no na ya ba the fronu aka chen sebre na so on 5 video into original tv ye social media handles no Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and afi TikTok na original tv gh sanso na YouTube account no your original tv Ghana obetimi ahwe no bomodin ase social media handles ni nyina be follow ye no like your programs ni pages ni nyina na ye dwumadi ade no so dan da nyina so watimi ahwe bie enen sembe ne gu apono so a ye hwe iguso a ehwe eye domestic debt exchange program aban ade aba ade chi ade sei ense bebre na fi ho ne ba enne most pensioners do no I take into social media omo venti omo disagreement with government say baby a ekono aban etoaso ad na niko ho no mu a eduwo na ebebre omo eno a mi mfoni bi de kireo eye police ni bi wakwa ahomegye masem okan ye afesi so eye individual bond holders eno omo so visit eye Kali Bishop Conference yera lawyer Martin Pegbu edu omanimu ekoye omodi nsemi kokutuja enen koma yedi ndodo no a efa ho nti we de men sebre no ma men sansi su biem ebi eno a wantumi ahwe bia ene wanya kwanya no watimi ahwe bi medin ede samonto from the captain of the dress from igbe mafia so a mejo so yentie oposini a ode ne retirement sika akwakote bond bond no ebe macho this year then so enam programs are eba all of them feel threatened. Was sending caution to the president and the government that they shouldn't touch his money because abandon the second is a pa.
Good morning, President. Nana Ado Adankwa Akufo-Addo. Ano pay mi bano boko. Midin the ASP retired Franklin Nati. Mesun Ghana ewo police mu 24 plus years. Na mi gratuity me san kano mi dito bond 2 years. Aka 1 year this year September. Year 2023. Na mi bond no amateur. Wo adwina wo di ba ye say wakoboka ana wa bugana abofom enti me bra ma bre sika medi to bond no commercial bank no unfa mame we enye am robber ene ebe chemedi misika o oman panyi a ya to abama no se onhwe yeso emra wo fru plane 18,000 pounds an hour nkrofo kachre wante emra wo fa so many ministers se omunu na oni omu betumi aye adwuma nkrofo kachre wante ene your incompetence inti me bre amabre medisika yedi tua meka se gratuity mi fa hwe mi ho so no usi wafa this is 2033 se mi manum na opese omumbeji sika na minana no mu a minim president woni die mu o Israel unuana ni bank edi enim eji loans no mfaso a wanya no misrew mano fansa mfaso no ekutu yesika no mesika no mfa mame Nanado, utrimu ye din papa. Obi a ma ye juma, Ghana mra 24 years plus no, yentua meka as a retired officer no. Usi untua meka, minya 60 years ye. Nanado, minister mi bisa wo. Have you been a civil servant in Ghana before? Have you worked as a civil servant? Please, Nanado, mimpese mbe kasatiao. Mimpese mbe dumi wusu eni ubusia debi. Midi yao esreo. Tise na Mr. Matheson. Efri sunyani esreo no. Jai misika mami. Midin di ASP Franklin Kwesi Nate. Mi tome bon wo commercial bank. It was Accra North branch. Please, I beg you, in the name of God, don't touch my money. Don't touch my money. Don't touch my money. Anybody who receives this, please send it to as many platforms for Nana Adodanko Akufo-Addo to see, to hear, and to see. Or his cousin Ken Oforiatta should hear. Please, 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 Nanado, I'm not supposed to beg you. Because when you were begging that you should be tried, I remember traveling from Kumasi to Koforidua to vote for you 2016, thinking you are bringing something on board. I regretted it. I have regretted all my life. Some friends told me, "Anka unya accident or question na uya." Well, Nanado, please, whoever received this message, forward it to as many platforms. Let Nanado hear me and ensure I have my money. Thank you.
Our members are in dire straits. This is not a joke at all. I mean, you look at the numbers in terms of what we have to shoulder, and you see that without the coupon payments, which our members have been relying on, this is going to be a matter of death, mass death for our members if this program is made to see a successful end. That is to say, if government implements it. Put in another way, Most Reverend Jemfi, we rely on the coupons to be able to pay our bills. Yes, we rely on the coupons. That's the interest that the government pays on the bonds to be able to pay our bills. That if you look in the budget, there's a lot of money, but government has gotten its priorities wrong. That is the fact. There's money in the budget. Government says they want to do capital expenditure. And we are saying no. Government can't be heard to say that. Article 36 of the Constitution says that, yes, by all means, government can develop. But when you are developing, make sure that the maximum welfare of the citizens is guaranteed.
We will assure you that we will not betray your trust. We will send it to the appropriate quarters. And if possible, they give us audience. We will discuss most of the matters you have raised up here with them. And we will see and ask and request and plead that they give listening ears to your pleas and your suggestions. To the hearing of all Ghanaians, what is the government doing? Why is he treating us this way? Why is he coming this place? And what justifications?
We the Akoso over the weekend, and I say within a big or so over the last weekend, it be so happy. And they say, me no can say gamanche, and so the nanuatum, I can say a bank was suspended a yes our program. And the latest one about to make Christian Council of Ghana, almost so I issue a statement. Catch the Aban say Aban and suspended the debt exchange program now de eba no obi a ka ho asem na are you affected enra ampani enu omtwetwe nkomo kire say Ghana fo a may affected with this debt exchange program omo hold bonds no is about 6 million Ghanaians sika ewomu no is about 8 billion Ghana cedis any sika ewomu na enra opani bi me twetwe nkomo me monidin onim o aban mu na o kire say omutra see critical analysis about microphone sika womu no about 10,000 of them there they are politicians. Now they hold the highest bond. Just more music so no. There are about 10,000 people, and most of them are politicians. I just say, "Ultimately, say yes." I then never question pa. Na, I don't know. I want some no. To patcho, me can't say come on and Asha send WhatsApp message in Fabre. WhatsApp number na the screen so na no dia wo sane de breya babeka sane akenkan nyina e dia ma wo nempanyufo a ye no mu de dwuma e wo fidua mu e ye ne kasa ye nua panyi yewra yaw asani tano political analyst yewra akwaba
ejosonia
na pomi de
e shrame
kumboko
me be fa na sa for heat no there there's always a different heat in the system nti we can be brana akwa to say we mpa ban but it's for the good of this country ntina ya the transfer na jone heba be bobo nsem nti yeah
okay sanso ana yewra Julio Jima enso so financial analyst onimide osikasem si echirechire nsemu say a member of the New Patriotic Party communication team, national communication team, MPP. Ba yewra Alan Kwadwo Chairman omo GD say yewra Alan Chairman also lead MPP Amanyosem 2024 elections so we believe pa our campaign team member. Julius. Apomie. But the chrome is saying
me say there's a misfeeling kakao chrome. And yet to the dead Magana for a messaging agent and some air coso a debt exchange no idea the piano is as financial analyst ye shany more say fear and panic ember on my name the team piano because your financial space in the fear and panic in the I say the whole negotiations and I say discourse na air coso but chromo a misfeeling kakra send a cost no but you hope say at the end of the day there will be some light at the end of the tunnel na send in your penny kaya no na you say a daje the bet na ha no mu say no e Ghana ho do intina yeguswa edi inkita ho di inti yenim say definitely ni bibia be kama
amen ye mo pa say bibia be kama openyo otoso miensa yewra yaw ajakwa oko USA abrochimemu NDC Amanyosem no akandifo na ho no na oye deputy chapter youth organizer ene o fidua yi mu dodo na afre no ofaya over afishapa
committee
pomi ade
oko na so
abade adom nso ho ye papa answer na obefu play na babedu Ghana no na Ghana ho nsem ben na wo brochira wotie
okay. Thank you very much. Akwese nkomo ya yedidi ho ya ba ni nti a betra ha e ba bedi ho abobo ya. Fasika sem ho economy ne education almost all the areas in governance no. Eno ho asema na chese enyina ye bobọ so a chese yedi ho abobo a e de farm ebedu Ghana. Nti abaha na chese ye babe dwendwen ho ne ahwe kwan e be fa so na eja ye de niam atutu yi na se de niam asi ko yi
de wo wa mono ne ana wote ene wo ba fie wan kasa de wani krotwa wisi ahwe ti ansenta ma be ho sile si koso no. Is there any disparity? Say sometimes Ghana for bit may exaggerate but over the reality is not what they report.
Oh, actually niena me wo ho a meti ne me backgrounds and what I'm seeing there is no difference. It's exactly that. It's a near man koye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Koye.
And koye kra.
Bogus na who said koye. Anyway, Wami Sham Komana Simfan Raya Asani Tano ho. Debt exchange programming, domestic debt exchange programming. He say Abano announced about 3 weeks ago. Na do no ano sheda ntiase. Nti me I said na as a response in agitation no agitations no form. But the coming days and weeks, as a ideas and more on microphone no ITS, and the more microphone tears and the more agitated or more they becomes. Sign I will see this bond and as a domestic debt exchange program, considering the fact that government is baby, that's the alternative. Or Makami say, and to money and the economy may collapse. So, of a 19 of a say 19 umianidia or suamia so a creating.
Before the debt exchange, Mame take in chair with two. When chair a basis of Befia and Hetty, Nama chair to go one. Mame chair,
catch it to go on, so Ghana and free Ghana.
Crowded my catcher. Mame chair, my colleagues, and it means that 4 years on the panel.
Hey,
Thursday is important. Yeah, and see,
we are blessed.
A very important announcement being presented with the trigger. There were some few friends in the UK who have benefited from the scholarship scheme, courses, PhDs, masters, etc. Who are Kingsley Ajiman.
Okay.
And from the education
Abuakwa South. Attach your seat.
When I did my research on Kingsley Ajiman, ordinarily I wouldn't name but I realized that the number of fora organized for the youth in that community, in schools, any career guidance and whatever it is to ensure some for a bay quizzes are organizing more. And the way I uplift the youth in that community, I tell you, that seat is nothing more than, say, a over. So, his youth. That is yes. My friend, Abuakwa South Commander.
Attach your seat.
Na omunsa friend, Ochimai Kania. No, yeah, Kingsley Ajiman. Yes, you follow him. You will see that there's no way we're attaching primaries. Bet me standing heat, because even the youth within the Abuakwa South, they are agitating such.
I know it's a primaries.
Primaries can happen. Yeah. And to Kingsley Ajiman and Andrew Kankam is Eric Kankam is his boy and he's my friend. Andrew Treme is also his boy and he's my friend. And Nana Sewa Uti, the constituency women's organizer for Abuakwa South. They have been giving me necessary information for me to follow the man, and I am very confident say Kingsley will be the next MP for Abuakwa South. The debt exchange program. When I hear the word suspension, to say suspend, I don't know. I'm probably we have to look for the meaning of suspending something. Exactly. Just say where the word we should just cancel it, right? You see, under normal circumstances now, this particular policy or whatever it is that they are bringing about here shouldn't have happened had it not been when he was advised from day one of his actions and inactions regarding the economy. And I would with Emma. You see, he has mismanaged the economy to a point where the fiscal space is choked. In fact, there's no even single avenue for the country to maneuver to make other funds available into the country. The IMF will not tell you that go and plant rice in commercial quantity. Go and plant maize in commercial quantity. Time when you started saying blaming Ukraine-Russia war from 24th of February 2021. So you see a dria and money a bronco as a state, and can you harvest it not less than 3 periods. And can you export it? No, you export it. Just say it will bring additional money into the system. One district, one factory has never had any impact regarding the economy. Now, when they were coming, they indicated that the previous administration was inept and that they couldn't have borrowed their way out of debt. And so what they were doing at the time was unsustainable. Because at the time, debt to GDP was
56.
Right. Now, it was at that point, and I reckon for other people is occupy Ghana, or and I'm pampa to sa abani fiho. What they told us was that they would come in and engage in smart borrowing. Now, immediately they came, they had in waiting 2 tranches of the IMF that had been, the agreement that had been entered into by Ghana government and IMF. Into the 2 tranches, they received it. Not only that, which we completely, every time we can. Not only that, they came to meet buffer pillars, a beboa ama a kaya deno. Higher debt, which is a sinking fund. We had a heritage fund. We had the Ghana Infrastructure Development Fund. We had a ESLA. And we had other funds. Cocoa stabilization. We had other funds. And yes and now they were 0 accounts. There were monies in it. If you take that away, we also had the financial sector backing the economy. What Owura Kene-Ofori-Atta decided to do, all these very important economic pillars off the shelves and rather collateralize some of them as against the a point and I said we maintain na what it taxes no now would be to retire our various debts. He continued to borrow and the advice came, he never listened. That is number 1. 2, Osanso and I've been said financial sector. He was advised. He never took it. He went ahead to do it. And then 3, they came out with, when they didn't see their way clear, and e-levy was the last resort. And the e-levy was going to do, was the game changer, was going to do wonders for Ghana. Indeed, almost every minister who had the opportunity to speak on e-levy said that the e-levy was going to be used to ensure that his outfit delivered. At a point in time, even the road minister decided to told because the e-levy was coming. The e-levy, the approach is wrong. Rather do it the other way around to ensure, say, gradually we can scale up the percentage. The stakeholders' engagement that they were supposed to have done with the mobile money operators, they didn't. The mobile money operators wrote letters upon letters. They didn't mind them. And then, bam, they brought it to 1.5%. And then we all have seen the results of the e-levy. Right? And to 20, and I don't feel it, and I don't see it. Says for a year, 2 or more say, this debt exchange awarded by, it is going to impoverish majority of the people in this country in the next foreseeable future. And so, Anka, the best thing you have to do is to find other means to, structure the economy. But because they need the 3 billion so much, they want to kill the future of the people. Yeah, can you imagine? This man who just spoke, Obi Ayajuma, 24 years, right? The retirement package, the man, I am confident, says, okay, can you Aboma and share and do 500,000 Ghana cedis.
That's any purpose.
You see? 24 years old. But
100,000 crying.
100,000.
But interestingly and annoyingly, Owura Ken Ofori-Atta has stayed in office as finance minister within 6 years. Borrowing, he has been able to make profit of about over 159 million Ghana cedis just within 6 years for himself and his company. And no kwanda nchenyo. And no ye di onu wa bobo sia na wagya ho mfiafia ho. Na other areas contract ahodo ne negotiations ahodo a waye local loans ne ho no manoma. And no the crop you quantify you. Until you within 6 years you've made so much money and somebody has worked for 24 years. And let's even assume that he has 500,000 Ghana cedis. And you knowing very well that there was a danger coming. You offloaded everything that you had to offload from your institutions. Into Ghana for 1.3 million. Or more about Abambo say, Monfanye development, and Ghana. Na yes, Mama in Sihu Kakra. And no Sankrofo no, and I would do Omo Eco Shaman. So, what mismanage economy now? Why do you have to hold the hands of people, tie it, and then tie them by the stick, more or less, figuratively, fire them, shoot them at the stake? Yeah. This particular debt exchange has now brought my thinking to bear. Say, it is the period I have seen that Ghanaians are seriously timid. We are so timid because this particular thing, basically, what you beto ho, ya ye ho tse sabe na ntwe ya ahoden a woni mu nya ahoden ketwa. Enso wa ye ho sa ma nipa be se ndan miensa bi e de ahoma bram na omotwen na fom tum na se kan e da ne mane. This is exactly what Owura Ken Ofori-Atta or the Eye Ghana for. And you see, what baffles me is the arrogance in his sarcastic speeches. Say, at all costs, that is the way to go. That is the way forward. Otherwise, we cannot come out of this mess. As if to say, in Crawford, bond you are insinuating. Say, meanwhile, you guys have started so much money, profits that you have made. Some of them, it is even alleged that they are not even kept in this country. Right? Until just like we keep on saying that DK poison, Ghana, Bosia $45,000 now. It is equally important, and I believe that Owura Ken Ofori-Atta and his enterprise insurance and data bank, plus his family and friends, they can also borrow Ghana money to bail us somehow out of this situation that we find ourselves. Intermediate for the debt exchange, I sincerely say, this particular debt exchange should not just we should not just be talking about suspension. We should cancel it. It will impoverish this country to the level, and in fact, we are not even talking about people who may die.
Part of the IMF conditionalities about IMF conditionalities say there's a total ban on public sector employment this year. This about said the interest payment about domestic and external no but say about to suspend this payment at least a year no. The government can accrue about 10 billion Ghana cedis.
You see, call the bluff of the IMF.
Are we?
Like I mentioned, IMF will not come and tell you to go and plant maize. Into when we see a watch there, you mobilize it. Now, you go into large scale farming within 3 months. We can harvest rice, we can harvest maize. In the north, the irrigation systems are already there. They are trying instrument in conclusion. Yeah. Meko Need FM, one of your the stations in Accra. Last week, now you discussions new year no, and you remember na me call. Into me pick I don't know the number. An elderly person's voice. No, say me ba me chiao, and I responded. O say my hear numbers and awie ukasa maneto makuma so pa na misunye. Na me pa so monka yan semaye. Na me buku surgery last year. Wo Dr. Agawa said, Tesano police station. Obuku last year, waiting for his interest on the bond. Na onka odibia sosuna wakoye nani surgery. Ne yire nso is a pelvic or a hip problem. I know so he is dealing with. Na the abeto dwa no ama adwendwen abeto ne so nani efra. Nti yanka bi mom. I'm so penny media meka wo. Now as to whether some beti any asem no. Nti it is up to you the bondholders to resist this thing. They are forcing your hands into something you did not create. And the MPP communicator, Yura Hobson, he was one of your sister stations. He was saying, I didn't grab it, from because we knew how to defend it. How did you know Bisicon, the other Bob was as a fire Juma, or the Buagana? Was the main firm interest, my name. I just don't get it. Yeah, I think we should cancel that to avoid unnecessary death and unnecessary ailment of our elderly people. We should just cancel that exchange. Okay.
Here I am, Sanitano. Yenua Musabato on Facebook. So, any pastor who is honest and integrity will resign from the board of National Cathedral. Please don't use the name of God to steal the country. Pastor Heward Mills resigned because of inflicting costs. Inflicted costs. Rather than inflicting. I say Reverend Professor Cephas Omenyo also resigned. I mean, he didn't Omenyo because of underhand dealings, corruption. Any pastor whose interest is to serve the living God will eventually rescue himself or herself from the board. Also, being on the board of the National Cathedral is like engaging in galamsey. God save Ghana. Yenua Musa abatwane de and on a positive change from Medina. I will say Akufo-Addo party in government is not really bothered about going to opposition, but they are worried about the subsequent punishment that is dangling in their face. The Australian visa fraud, Kenny GVG, PDS, 500 Mason excavators, COVID-19 cash, data bank fraud, National Cathedral fraud, and many more. Also, betima send no message in their brain. Na keka dia Mayenua Paulata say obusa ese ho tese nyame adom ye ho ye papa. Here Julius. The last week this has a more come but from last week we seen as been several revelations and then agitations are so how do you think the government can manage this? Though more is canny or modiano. They have the right. Government would be canyon be deciding when to pay. Name of agreement and in the panacono. In this case, board be our agreement. So, how do you think the government can manage this issues ever?
You let me say, Minya, yes, auntie, enchia ya shefuni na enchia Ghana for. Let me say, semna yokosono, emuye ya. So there's a lot of mixed feelings in the economy and also in the country. And this debt exchange, Ababe, one of the very topical issues are El Coso. I started last week, ye di hun komo, and then yamiama akonya bium, ye gusua airshare. Na senior Oka say how our government busy for managing the situation. The only way forward, the stakeholder consultations and as a stakeholder engagement, because a ban of the bonds now, a agreement between individuals, the ordinary Ghanaian versus government. So in simple terms, a jina homa bosia boa abino abo every individuals and as a Ghana for no. Na senior na yegusu abo hundero no. Ne fapim na jina ye economy ne so say per 2023 budget information our finance minister Edebeto Ghana nim na a admission of the fact says say ye were in financial difficulty, financial crisis. Now then again in so abino so ehu na wa admit that situation. Na e wo se otimi eye den eye bibi e de fa ho. Debt exchange ne started here no. Na a year say one of the reasons I buy Echo IMF no was to seek for a balance of payment support. Na yenim say balance of payment support in a year situation our imports overriding our export as a country. In the term bia no the trade deficit at the mayen. Yesanko ye budget ni mu a na ye fa ye expenditure. One of the biggest expenditure item away your budget no, that is reference to 2022 budget no, interest payment. And the interest payment na insihu aban etua won besia bo a wabo every the domestic market and then the foreign market no. Ababa be ye bibia abehye aban ne konso na aban no entimi ne huntimi enhenha no wosikasem mu because with interest there se uwo sikao se uni sikao ewo se utua enti no eno na aban no take that measurement ne say at least no obetimi ahoma ade some form of sanctity and say harmonization ebeba the interest payment say no ama aban no eje ne ho a onje enti exercise na ekoso ni nyina na ye say aban no ho betimi ahenha no wosikasem mu again ye hwe economy na oze inflation sensemo na peja nimu fango bonso peja nimu na fe cost of commodity prices bibia peja nimu inti ama the macroeconomic indicators na are very unfriendly as we speak and as a country na aban so echo IMF no for policy credibility because senior 2022 by na Ghana receive a lot of downgrades from these international credit rating agencies no and the lack of investor confidence then ebe omanimu it's no bian person ordinary campo eba be share omanimu just as we wanted it and again Ghana so yenya restriction from going to raise some form of money on the international market it's ne fapema ye kan say aban sika sema abafom na minister no agye atumu aban nso nimse ne sika sem ye den ewo fem at this particular time na again nso no the increasing budget deficit over the period no nini na ekeka ho boaboa no kakra ena mama yaba bedum pepeso ya yaba bedu no na for government to have that fiscal stability stress be ma ne ho be henhan no sika sem no now that means cutting down expenditure no one of the biggest item expenditure item no interest payment nti no na aban ne gusu edi dwumedie ya ye de aba bedu this debt exchange ne ye say aban ne sikasama aba form na aban ne propose say insihu a otua wo ne besia bo no ontimi nye den entua sa insihu no enti no say Ghana for ebeti na se a nende Ghana for ne beko adwenkru mu a nka afia yesimu 2023 no obetwentwen insihu ni tua so kakra na afi no wa propose new instrument and say a new bond ama Ghana for omoye existing bond holders bond ne ye say so obi ewo sika aye friend no lender na aban no a ono ye borrower no ye prepared say obe borrow sa sika from the lender through the financial intermediaries from the banks eti banks for na omo ti say agent omo no gisika ne fi ankrankra for na omo da koma aban say aban fa ye ejuma na unya mfaso a wetua bia man ne de abre ye individuals and as lenders for no honom eti that is the relationship but ne fapema ye kan akosi ne say aban sika sema abafom na the issue with global pandemic a baye so na ebe cripple your economy no aye situation bi a enye say ye place emphasis was so bebrebe na utie wiase news nyina UN meeting no call so nyina na the emphasis is on say wiase economy nyina ho akere no wiase economy nyina kwatwe na Ghana ye de ne de aye worsen because ye import driven economy krabeton na ye de ba no ama ye nyina ye chesi dollar no enti e ba ne sana na ye sidi ne nso ye den depreciate onzo ye sidi no e ba form kakra afi asan peja ni mu ama petrol bon so ye den peja ni mu enti sa nyoma nyina no ha ye economy no enti ne fapema ne ye say aban sika sema ne income levels anase ne revenues ewo fem na ade a ekoso no say o say initially no na individual bondholders no omo nka ho aban ma exemption na aban ne hu say oh senior the current economic conditions any even the time value of money no the existing bondholders no say next week year 24th January ebi mu de be matured say no kwa na ye papa ASP or kasa no ebi mu de be matured e na aban no say aban ni tuo musika ye den e de ma omo enti on the side of government ne de aban yes say at least no say otimi engage individual bondholders no voluntarily na say omo ti ase na omo ma aban no etimi eye exchange na ebeboa omo sika sem demom no sa new instrument a eba no eno no sika sem num den emu yedu but say no say udu sika ema aban na say eye matured na aban ni tua the principal plus interest na say no etimi ntoshe was edwama nso value na ye den akofom. This is on the side of government. It's when a man abani hunya nuhunse anase in Shishabi say, any mame emma the opportunity for the individual bondholders partake in this new exchange. Na fe no omusika sem no emu ayedu. But nini na ye consultations, nini na ye engagement because Ghana for na di omusika ye den ama aban. Enti eho no consultations na ewo fem kakra. Say no ema individual bondholders no epeja omumu se de bi empene because individual bondholders no taxi drivers, police for MPs for sika womu, ministers sika womu, judges, doctors, nurses, ankra onomuto enyoma wabosu kantamanto kanshi obia ye ejuma kakra no timi save a na afi wa mane banks aye den ato bonds bi from aban honomo because investment and as investing activities. Eti ne krakra ne ye say individual bondholders ni peje omumu because bond no so no contract agreement offer and acceptance. Enti no say o pese o breach agreement ne kra you must go back to the other party of the contract no na oni na ye nhyehyeye say oh Jumedia media me de mensa akwa IMF ya me pay 3 billion ababe save economy no atimi anya the balance of my payment in terms of international trade no na afi metimi aiden addressing me import because it costs government annually 10 billion in terms of our import bill. Etino yentimi build the economy at no a year import driven economy. For how long are we going to continue on that tangent? I would say we begin to look at export, we begin to look at industrialization, we begin to create jobs for the youth. Ye betimi aye san hyehyeye nyina na ejina sese ne ye betimi atoto ye sika semu ye na afeni ya hwe ye books mu ne hu se ade bia eye eka emene aban sika no ye betimi edi hu kita hyehyeye na afi yetimi address no.
You knew this in opposition say Ghana a import driven economy and into catch say you are coming over added value to our raw materials by establishing one district, one factory. Now you processing, agro processing in Amayem Fankonko into Famla. 6 years after assuming office, what is the value of Ghana exports? Contribution being and a one district, one factory. And how do I see you producing value being and the Abra economy? Because before a year, one district, one factory crown, we can say the import then ABC NHS import no more increasing. What's the value?
Yo, minyo ameda. Say say aban no bae no wodwuma die bebre odi si nani so se na obeye e de aboa Ghana fo ana se odi apija oman no emaye so emeye yere mfi se from 2017 2018 2019 so ho aban no bae no oye nyoma bebre na ema ye GDP ni timi grow ye Ghana na aye krabehwe obia pese na aye investment hub obia pese odisika ebehye oman ni mu nini na ejina eniswadi hu abani eden enyaye from 2017 18 na Ghana one of the fastest growing economies na CNN for eni daha no say BBC documentaries Ghana African country be na etimi apija ni mu say na ne den no mo ye nti emamu nyina attention eye den ebaye the year of return nso eboa your country no economically in terms of tourism revenues and as a tourism investment eti ni nyina boa ma attracted the diaspora eti me the ba man almost almost ba no ndwuma na omo ba beye trade na omo ba beye se ne beye ade bia no at least no export na ye hia no omo ba no mutimi eboa yen ne ade value to our goods and services a ehone ne ebenya value ehone ne de benefits bebre eba your economy no na say on say the drive for industrialization and I say 1D 1F no on say aban start here aban the factories bebre ecofidues start here and look at the success story Ghana for nyina na ye patronize because even in the budget 2023 budget no minister ne be confirm here say there are a lot of commodities like fruit juice toilet roll toothpicks ceramic tiles poultry rice sanyoma we nyina no de ema import no ekosoro enti afia yesime 2023 no nani so ade hu an se obetimi aye address that situation no attend all those products na ye import no see ya betimi aye oye manim na afia you begin to export them na ni nyina nso gina priorities of government on say aban ejuma edi obeye bia no or share the person or ne first or share the obey ne second and all that ni nyina ntimi enko wano na afi emfa so ne yeden embre or mine just as we want it enti eyen kakan kakra na aban ne gusu aye den hyehyɛ enyoma ne kakan kakra ofa we kakra no aye ofa we kakra no aye but say no as o mine be bia ye gina de was say yetimi enya akukuduro no na afi there should be deliberate effort say ye betimi aye den fully ye industrialize the economy no and that should be the focus of the discussion enti debt exchange ya aban no eye ni nyina ye say edi aban ebema aban ne ho ahenhan no osikasem mu na afi no support na aban ni siki from IMF no etimi de some dollars bia ye den aba oman ni mu na emfa supply no eho enye de enkwa atwe because ye consume enyoma bi wo man ni mu a tem bia ne de per dollar ebi ye fango crude and also refined petroleum product no it take about $400 million on monthly basis in annual terms na $4.8 billion I was a time bia na bani timi pesa dollar in na edema the chamber of bulk importers no mutimi de fango de eba o mine mu they say kwa no yasanto electricity PRC for class and increase aban no so confirm in the 2023 budget they say it taking $1 billion annually to be able to give us sustainable electricity until no your economy need there the dollar in the system need doesn't too much.
Just 1 minute na me move it to a year of fire. COVID by catch say COVID no be able to me enya be but more underline a year conditions in almost any serious.
That's right.
You said before COVID, the economy, whether it was doing good or it was doing bad as compared to your neighboring African countries, we don't know. Why is it that Ghana and Kwan, it seems like COVID implication, COVID affecting the economy to the extent that we are doing things that none of our neighboring African countries are doing it? Why are we so much affected?
Oh, one say COVID by no abane bone ho modern wonyoma bebre so because na abane focus ne say sebe on manipa enwu basa se ne ye hu ye TV so other countries no I mean advanced countries the United Kingdom US European there were a lot of people dying na ye hu clearly inti abane no effort to ne ho so say there be on ma Ghana for ye nkosa situation nim enti de obeya ni se obebo ne ho modern na afi wetimi aye den aspende wo Ghana for ho so ho na yetimi aye den enya ye nkwa because yenya enkwa ya pomuden no ebetimi egina so a ye say a healthy nation is a wealthy nation enti aban no COVID interventions aban ne de ba bebre na no eye echo into consumption na aban no ekipi public sector workers ni omu wo fie ba na aban no gusu 8 omuka aban no ma a lot of tax exemptions nurses for one na omu ye frontline workers so ho aban no spend omu ho free water free electricity Oh, aban no e di sika bebre e
If you pay for those utilities.
Oh, say
for
lifeline customers aban ne buy na aban no e the subsidies e ko share mu e de ni na yisikasem so ho say ultimi e boa amagana fo aho because that time na ye na ye lockdown obi anko obi amba say be eduane kwampo kra na ye benya edi kra no there were
lockdown no was Kumasi, Accra, and some part of a central region which is Kaswa.
But once Ghana minimisa ba once Ghana ye fa Ghana na ye fa ye vibrant cities na dodo na no bibiara no ejina Accra no na movement ne economic activities no e booming e wa ha no mu say it's not all the focus no e wa Accra because ye nim se ne Accra e ye ye nim se ne nipa e ye I mean on Wednesdays and Saturdays ukọ kroma central business district who se ne e hoye packed into COVID situation there interventions are buying edit to dwa at least no opese Ghana for enko sa situation na ye hu na nipa ehu basabasa no enti aban spend ye aban ema a lot of tax incentives and I say tax exemptions and be ya ye benya enkofo workers especially the health workers no metimi sacrifice no ma Ghana for nkwa enti nini na ye sikasema aban no spend during those periods as he say certainly say sikasem na akofem na ma sikasem na akofem no
my main kind messages kakra aba we have 27 unread messages. First one from Positive Change Medina, my account message via Facebook. My main moving on. We say under Mahama government all alleged corruption that the media cabal was so interested was penny compared to the distraction the useless president and his gang of criminal ministers have brought upon us to the extent that citizens' life savings has gone forever. Kwabena Adai Kingsley Edifakra. We say, please, I want to ask where our Council of States, because Nanado is not serving the subject of this country. In fact, Ghanaians are suffering. I say, I'm Nana Kofi from Achimota. We say, please, our president should put his legs into the shoes of the people. Gordon, I say, our regional TV is the best. Yeah, that's it. We say, I'm sure the MPP man will speak the truth because I'm also MPP but disappointed one by NAD. One. I say Nanado Dankwa one, not number one. Nanado Dankwa one, not number one. We say, I'm watching you live. Thanks to Anfanidi and Kanwa. Say, please, is not Akufo-Addo a listening government? Liars free laptops for SHS 2023 vice again. Say thanks, Ike Edifriasin in Suta. We say don't exchange what you want most for what you want for the moment. We say now the MPP lack wisdom. Good evening, Sami Freeman and Winyama Kokumemle no duwe free brain. We say even though Akufo-Addo is old, but he is good for nothing. Akufo-Addo is accursed, and anyone who comes into contact becomes accursed as well. Foster Abeka Nidieni. We say, hey Nanado, why are you doing this? Why? Abba. We say good evening Honto Nanado and Ken Oforiatta, they are wicked and see what NPP party have done to Ghanaians. What they know is Ghana registration. We say good evening. Sammy, good evening. Why is the MPP guy not ready to talk about what they campaign against? It's funny when Kama tried to strike you. Sammy, I swear, Ghanaians are suffering, and I don't think we deserve what is happening to us. Sammy, if care is not taken, it might get out of hand. Noble, Edife Kumase. We say, hello, Mr. Sam. I'm Joseph from Michelle Camp. I say, ask Akufo-Addo that where is the money that he said we are sitting on it. We say this is dangerous than men's gold. I say, Sammy, good evening. Please, is the IMF not telling government to bring down the number of ministers? What kind of leadership is this? Nanado is a criminal. We say NABCO trainee should be paid. They are suffering. We say NABCO trainees are unhappy of our allowances, unpaid allowance. We say, Brasame, Good evening to you all. God bless you. Nanado and his MPP said, without e-levy, Ghana's economy will crash like computer hard drive. After that, they told us it is. I say, it is IMF rather will save Ghana. Are they the same people coming after people's bond? Oh, are we having any man in this Ghana? Patrick Edifisuhum. Was why this man, Mr. Asani, wants. He moved from one station to another, condemning all government policies. Please, Ghana is for all of us, not him alone. Stop propagandism. Hey, so, but you wouldn't have had any problems. And jumping from one station to another station, praising government. I mean, you should say a problem. Mr. Hunter, good evening to you all. I say it is very clear that Nanado has failed. He is now trying to squeeze us the more in order to retrieve money from us and embark on his populist project of building the cathedral and paying salaries to his unnecessary appointees. God save us. Moses Kaswadini. Well, say good evening, Mr. Hunter. Good evening, Hunter. Please, do you remember the name Ejapade? Or say what they plan to do to Ghana through gold is that what is they have turned into? They have just turned to make Ghana poor by themselves. We say good evening, boss. For good evening, boss. For me, it's not National Cathedral, it's National God's Home. Okay, my message is clear. Until I believe the MPP communicator was not in the country at the time Nanado was asking us to try him. What did the MPP do in 2017, 2018, and 2019? And that they cannot do. That they cannot do. Thieves. We see from Comrade Obed Dennis Kacheku, formerly at Unibank Ghana Limited, the society where the criminals swim in the same pool cannot stop experience massive corruption and grabbing from the state coffers. They sound like the saint in Millennium, but their heart is full of looter and mafia galore. After mismanagement, the state resources with family and friends, selective leadership, President Nana Addo and his government are now still from the citizens in the name of domestic debt exchange. Nana, nie corruption, nie, long live Ghana, long live our democracy. Okay, you have 8 a year on red messages pending. Mamenko Ofaya, most of you and Brichiluna, so investment, bond, and I mean, could be catch him so on your core bank or so, could be some so, Nedian, Henry. Fully, I bridge for an Sanadom sort of bond. Minim shares about so we are involved now. But so what is a buying a release this program? Ghana for the drone one, Casa. Let's not forget that this is one of the conditionalities by the IMF. Just say whether we like it or not, I will say it to an more. Finance Minister Maya Carter say best scrapping off for crowd is not part of the equation and can't cry. And by every means, I will say to me a go through. How do you consider the state government women finances and also the bondholders?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I will just continue from where my co-panelist is this year. With this situation on Hunter, Samuel, to be honest with you, maybe any idea made you to cry like my other co-panelists said. If you look at the whole thing and where we have come to now, I'll see a beside who say, I didn't cry this situation. Because we all know say our brothers in the MPP in 2016, when the brown beba bemuno, and at time I fear bemuno, like my distance said, so we share economy now. Now at least now your debt to GDP now 56%. My boss mentioned it. Now it was 56% too. So what they are saying, and then they took over from the NDC. Until when time I take you over from the NDC, so no. don't forget, say, now the NDC and Mahama were only operating with one oil field. Until before I ever fear Abehemuno, now President Mahama and the NDC are fighting anya 2 other oil fields. And they come back on I one and I 3. But just so you're aware of this. Sure. Sankofa, Jubilee, and Tain, right? Yeah. Which tells us say revenue have doubled already. Because your time, no, now you harvested oil, ebia, in fact, almost 100,000 barrels. In addition of the 2, no, when we left, they started harvesting oil by 200,000 barrels a day. What do you say? Revenue have doubled. And it goes back to tell us, say, when they were telling us, say, when they come into government, they are not going to borrow. No, it makes sense. Yeah, but here lies the case that they come into government and they have all these resources given to them, including stabilization fund, like my boss, my this thing have said. Stabilization fund, get funny adinina, there were money in it. So okay, crat, emra COVID buy. Stabilization fund muno muko yi sika first in order to combat the menace, right? But yourself, you follow me. Sure. Yeah. So if we have been able to get all this oil to the one we had, 3, and it's giving you money, then why keep on borrowing? But if you look at it, from 56, before COVID, COVID and Ukraine, now debt to GDP, now moving to 76, almost hitting to 80%. That alone should tell you, say, we are not in good terms. When you have told us, say, you are not going to borrow, so what they are saying, you started borrowing, Ken Ofurata started borrowing in such a way, say, no, sometimes you ask yourself, why is he going for that money? And then when the money comes to, we don't know what those monies are being used for. It's only for consumption. And you know, it's as a result of the government, they have created their own problem. Have you seen it? That has led us to where we are today. And this kind of domestic bond, papa ni mame no mo abreye ejuma atese o musika kakra o mo invest to take care of them, like we were saying, you are telling them not to, you are going to seize that money from them. It means that you want everybody to die in this country. Because look at the way and everything, like I was saying, look at the ministers are obeying here. 125. You are paying all of these people. You give them cars, you give them everything, security and that. One minister is taking 16,000. Deputy, how many? 14,000, right? Look at transport ministry alone. Let's take it to the NDC era. Transport ministry was managed by Joyce Bauer and Muktari and the other woman.
The minister was Honorable Jifar
Ativot. Thank you very much.
Muktari Bauer
was the deputy. They were able to manage that sector very well, right? And it was divided into 3. We have road minister, we have railway, we have aviation. And these people are all taking huge sum of money. So how do you think? Say, okay, sorry, you Marty. And you know, the huge sum of money that they are taking. So all those monies now is there for you. Media year development. It's running into their pocket. Look at the Flaster House. President Mahama managed Flaster House. They were about 680 something, right? In Flaster. Today they are almost 2,000. And take one person, 10 people's salary in Flaster House can pay 100 teachers. Have you seen it? And you see, sir, most of the money was going into consumption. They were not used for anything that can give us money out of it, like President Mahama did before. So, and this Akaya, Omako bonus, and debt to GDP is 105, right? Let's make it 100%. It means there is no fiscal space. You need fiscal space. You are like my colleague alluded, one who said the Okano. And no correct. And that's why when you are going to the international market, nobody will receive you. Because would debt to GDP to me move it from 56 to 100, in fact, say 100%. How much are you going to use to pay salary and what will be left for development? It means 0. And when we were leaving government, we need to use 10 billion, any of the service here debt. From 2017 up to now, we are using 50 billion to service debt. It means Sikaba and Ebeka, now they are input to Juma, 0. So what they are saying? And this is the way now Akufo-Addo ne your friends and Ken Ofori-Atta no more manage government now. There is no way say we won't get to where we are today. So enti sa problem here ye woman right now no. And yet individuals in the country problem like the policeman is crying over there no. Me papa ka ho, me mama ka ho. So what they are saying, it's not a problem. It is a problem that have been created by people who call themselves to be competent. The competency of the MPP. When a previous government now who chastising no a cancer or money who more than debt to GDP now 56. All Konoja was not paid 2 oil first at the account amount, which tell you say you are having enough revenue. Why keep on borrowing every day now and then?
Abano so actually say baby I do know as a result of Russia-Ukraine war and COVID-19.
Thank you very much. May baho. Russia-Ukraine war now, omo say eno na ama yadu baby edu. And na make sure say before Russia and Ukraine war no, na debt to GDP from 56 now move to 76, almost 80%. So what they are saying before that Russia and Ukraine war and COVID-19, even the COVID-19, unto someone so what we are aware. Look at the huge sum of money omunyaye from IMF. They had money from International Monetary Fund, and then even within Ghana. Look at corporate bodies donating in Asifono. That money alone give us about 30 billion.
Sure.
What have they used that money for? Also, omo aduane e provide aduane ma na o directing no. Enye part of Kumasi, ne part of Accra. And ye aduane kakra ma omo for 2 weeks. And omo mention about 54 million. The other funds, electricity near there now no more can say, oh yes, subsidize. Later, were you not asked to pay for it? Oman can say mumbe tuyaka. So in all those huge monies now, it is just for consumption. And you can say, even during the COVID era, 2019, 2020, in terms of revenue generation, they exceeded it. Until COVID no rather should be a benefit to this government. So what they are saying. Here lies the case, the whole world, like you were saying, COVID by government bia try so bema incentives kakra e dey aboa the citizens Ghana and they were asked to pay COVID tax so you were paying in the US like this we were giving money pay some 2,600 and so on. Every country even Togo was giving incentives. So why should they be crying say COVID and lead to here? So if you look at the whole thing now someone it's not the Ghanaians who have caused this problem. It is the president and his own finance minister, especially Ken Ofori-Atta. Look at the borrowing within a period of 6 years, 7 years money. We have never seen it before. Yeah. When we were leaving government, now your total debt is saying, and you're 122 billion. 122 billion. Today is how much? 500 billion. It means almost 400 billion have been added to the debt. From what can they show with that amount of money on my borrow? So it is sikani now wa borrow ono so wan fa nya hwe I bet me give you what money. That is what have taken us to where we are today. And it is kind of debt exchange program near ye can you say ye mfamra mum na ye papa ne ye mame no omusika kakra and omaye adwuma policeman also aye adwuma for 24 years.
Yeah.
And he's only 100,000. I don't think he has 100,000 Ghana cedis to invest. Obeji huedi kakra kakra no, and then ye be jeffing some because of somebody's recklessness. So because of somebody, President Akufo-Addo, when you came and you were naming 125 ministers, we told you it's too much. Mahama used how many ministers? Is it not 87? That one Kuranomu critic 89. 189 rather. They said it was too much, right? You move from 89 to 125. Look at it. And you created shambolic ministries like the Ministry of Transport here at Mekan Wasemi. You can easily imagine that one person can handle with a deputy. Mekan was creating national security coordinator. We have defense minister. We have interior minister. We have national security coordinator at the presidency. Look at all these people. And they are all taking big money. Look at how Akumsin ministry now no Ministry of what? Special initiatives. And yes, Adam, so no. Okachire say, if you give me 250,000 to create a dam, what sort of dam do you expect me to? And yes, I know kind.
Sure.
All these monies, it means it has gone wasted. because our cause is here dam bia yesi ama ye de 250,000 yesi no emponchi miensa betimi akogina no manu munsuo nyina. Can you imagine this? So all this sum of the money I channel into this, you know, is wasted. So the problem now as we speak, you know, somewhere is not created by any Ghanaian, but rather Akufo-Addo and his government, and especially Ken Ofori-Atta and his deputy Charles Adubuayin. And Tisikaya yepesi yeji free and ananmon. What I would suggest is that we shouldn't even agree at all, but rather they should ask Ken Ofori-Atta. Sikana why you know he was earning from borrowing, right? His data bank was making profit from the number of borrowing that he did. So profit, baby, now somebody mentioned 159 million. Me, I know of 800 million and so forth. It's even more than that. Why won't he use that money? Why won't the government ask him to use that money to settle some of these conditions?
Ghana, a problem. I offer 800 million Ghana cedis.
There are other issues. So he's the cause of all these things.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to say is, baby, it's not yem papa ni yem mama and our cause problem. It is rather the government that have caused it, because the quantum of money omanya wuntoyes omasandi yakodru mpempeso ayewe. That's tell us they are not ready to serve this country. They came rather to loot from the nation. And that is what has led us to where we are today.
Okay, that's it. My Facebook, Bwedi Albert, will say good evening, Same, or say you are doing a good work. And that's what say, what is it talking about? This kind of people are the problem in this country. Was it tell the MPP man that they should all bring their own share of the money from COVID-19 fund thieves? You know what they abandon. I mean, kind of WhatsApp message kakre. Now, if you want to 19. We say, Sammy, I still can't understand how people have confidence and come on TV to defend this useless government. Tell the MPP guy to stop what he's doing. He's a fine gentleman. He shouldn't waste his time. I'm Rocky from Kaswa. We say, good evening, Hunter. These MPP people think Ghanaians are all blank-minded. So they just say whatever they want without thinking through. We see Bau from Medina, UBH, you know, they are we see the government should exchange gold for the bond, and the MPP guy should please stop what he's saying. The debt exchange is a bad news. We see good evening, Mr. Hunter. I think this guy can lie more than another cause. Because this evening kiosk, Nanado's kiosk. No, where did I show them? No, it's not really adding up. Okay, let me put it this way. This guy can lie more than Nanado cares. This evening, because he doesn't want to tell us the truth from Chairman Abubakar Imidie Akrano Deaba. Chairman, your message in Muye, your correction. I say good night. Good evening, Mr. Hunter. Whenever the MPP people has the chance to talk to us, it looks like they want to insult our intelligence. What is this man saying? Ambau Medina, UBH, no de Aba. We say I'm Ivan from Ntankufu, Mabodini ya Tadi. Or say NPP should be of their defensive talk. They should talk same if they go to opposition. Was a good evening. As the MPP man, how much has he been paid to defend this disappointed government? As you can see from all what he's saying are lies. He should think about the future of the nation and stop pretending. God save, God have mercy on the nation. It's a good evening, Sammy. Our leaders are wicked. God should save us. Sule Edifizongo. I say good evening. Nanado should tell Ken Ofori-Atta to borrow him from the 9% he took from the money that he borrowed since 2017. Thank you very much. Kingsford, Kwabena Odro, Edieni. I say good evening, please. I say good evening, please. Shadow from Asamankase. I say Nanado needs prayers for demolition. For demolishing 2 2017 buildings. So I see you. 2017 buildings. And 2017 buildings for demolition, maybe cathedral and that 56. So maybe let me correct you. Or say, what is he thinking? Or say, please, the MPP man is trying to cool Ghanaians' heart. Tell him to go and ask for mercy from God. Well, say, good evening, boss. I'm Godwin. Or see, we the students are really, really suffering in terms of transportation. I think this is the most useless government ever that Ghana had ever come across. Good evening, Sammy. Staff level agreements serve be this. When we get to board level agreement there, they will start selling people. I'm Ofe from Abeka Junction there, Abre. Good evening, please. Pensioners, bondholders should be considered because they are vulnerable considering their ages. Waiting for 15 years is suicidal. They are retirees who has invested all their benefits into this government. Bond, please consider all retirees. Thank. I'm Kingsley from Kofodia. Please tell the MPP guy to stop lying to the people of Ghana. Which one is your most priority? Agenda 111, National Cathedral. My name is Sick. Shame. You know, the Abba. We say the MPP man trying to say the COVID has caused us, where is the COVID pledge and donations? Where symbols within the hashtag symbiosis. We say, please ask the MPP for me, what did they borrow to support COVID? What did they borrow to support COVID? Russia-Ukraine war, root, share, or see, loot and share, and root, loot and share. Government. So say the battle is the Lord. Fire. That was so. Tell the MPP man to stop that statement of giving Ghanaian subsidy on utility. That one we have paid. Shame unto you. Kofi Bwedu. Is it not COVID time? President Akufo-Addo was using a private jet flying on top of us. Always Ukraine war and COVID. A shame of themselves. They cannot break the 8. They are incompetent. Dan Mahama time. Union about say good evening, sir, Hunter, and senior panelists. Or say, in fact, MPP government really don't understand democracy, and that is why they are intolerant. Or say, God is God. He will pay them at the appropriate time. And Prof. Sisters, Cecilia, and what you are bringing. I think what MPP government made in COVID-19 era was enough to save this country. Hey, aside all the taxes paid on COVID-19 here and there, God have mercy on these grand thefts, cause them go suffer well at limbo. Or still, they are saying COVID-19. That is why God is not a man. Like by now, they have been eroded from the surface of this soil. No leadership qualities. Totalitarian song. Or say, God bless us, the youth, and the unborn generation. Youth, arise from my Professor Sisters no day abre. So there was a list of Ghana's president and debt accrued. 59 years of the Kwame Nkrumah Besi Mahama, so 122 billion versus 378 billion. And then another Akufo-Addo. So public debt as 2022 is 500 billion Ghana cedis. Asemo, yenu ebiso di no. We see the nonsense done. Compare and contrast, boss. Okay. I mean, engage penifana family to us who have a message, you know. Beja super. Now, Yamfa, few minutes here handle National Cathedral. National Cathedral, one sense, but anytime a National Cathedral, baby, is also and you're positive. That word mills and some of the by HS, there's unseen hand dealings. If you are a cost one as a board member, no. You didn't know how our prices and no shoot from 100 million to 400 million, and in some who do be brave. Or fire, my mission say, and from through honor. Of 3 minutes, and everything, National Cathedral, and whatever you want to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. About national, everything.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay. Now me person may add something small. My co you receive be na person me. Okay, bra no okasa no. Can say 2017-2018 no na ene Ghana growth. That growth now omo kan ho asem no. As a result of the good worker Mahama ni NDC here no. Laying good infrastructure near them. The whole, even the international market were talking about this. In 2017, 2018, and 19, no, things will be good for Ghana just because of the good foundation now Mahama lay, building hospitals, building schools, constructing roads, markets, and all those things. You know. And no nema sa you know buy. Enti mumu ba ba mu 2017. Ye undia bro ba ba mu unya hwe. Then I be. How can you chalk success without doing nothing? Have you seen it? It is as na ya omoka na the good foundation na Mahama lay no. And no na eswa in 2017, 18, 19 no. Okay, mami fine see what. And with the cathedral issue no. There's one particular this thing all the time my dream. Say when we talk about the cathedral, we all know say cathedral na no so no enye adie bi a say Ghana
so si ye ni esi say Ghana ska
Ghana ska na esi but obi promise me bwana president no promise says we need election na obesi cathedral they glorify God. Was it not the genesis of the whole thing? Yeah, anything American say obi idea at the end of the day it shouldn't be something that we have to put public funds in the koshim. So what they say. That is where people are getting him wrong. So what they say. And he say, "Oh, see cathedral." Also, one who promise you God say, "Oh, we new basic cathedral." Then make sure say mobilize your own fund and then build a cathedral. But here lies the case: a cathedral. Now we see funds from the state is being diverted into the cathedral. So there were serious issues. So what they say. Look at the economy now. Look at the 5 areas of government. Every government over in power, you're making sure say you have to tackle these 5 thematic areas in government. 1 here then economy, 2 employment, 3 education, 4 health, and 5 security. Look at 5 areas here, Mabuwe. Samuel, can you tell me say this government Awabei, have you seen any improvement in any of this? Look at the economy that we are talking about, and ye nananumu ye papa numu skani ye kwa jidi abre abayeno. It tells you say that we don't have economy, which is bad fact. What they are saying, ye need economy because there to GDP are moving to 100%. I say, meanwhile no say oh babe ye ni ye. Into you already know economy no there is no improvement under this government. Ye by employment when we are leaving government no. Near say unemployment ratio na 5.6 and na 13.4. So what you say under this government, it means say under employment no, and also I say me bwana.
Okay.
Education. Look at our educational system right now. Everything is in tatters. A big core and a part normal by year you will green and good and track then as for. And it's not helping. You see, at the end of the day, some will pass. It doesn't mean some will not pass. Some will pass. But let's look at the greater part. You know, most of them need to me enter tertiary.
Okay.
And
1 minute.
I come in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what I want to say, health sector, and so we all know. Omo buy a hospital near omo nye biada. Dear baby Mahama ni NDCDAC here one because omo see hospital biya. And omo bubi. Thank you very much. Omo ya de omo bubi. And security. If you look at your security as compared to 2016, there is no way a Ghanaian be betting a catch me say. Akufo-Addo and the Akufo-Addo government were improving your security. It is rather worse. Okay. What they are saying. And you know, this government, you know,
your time is up.
They are,
1 minute. Julius.
Yo, Samuel say, Koswana, Yabekoswa, Sri Ghana for say, debt exchange exercise na ekosono. A voluntary one. And yet, Oshena abine den Ghana for. Name of Moninkita Hudieno. Ena ewo fem kakra enu nti na me say Ghana for no epija omu no ama extension of the deadline ayeden aba na the bigger picture ena we say Ghana for ye nyina yetimi ayeden ehwe ne yetimi safeguard economy no nti sa exercise ne na aban na egusu edi ho ejuma nti eya distrade ayegusu adestre Ghana for say omundwen omai no daache ho ene the bigger picture we mu say decisions ni bi no ene nyina na eye asemde but a buying decision or ye be an majority of them no or the Ghana for na yeden atuna koma so say Ghana for be yeden ebedi enye ni na eyede enti exercise ne de eye painful one ene ye tie ye papa police ni or the statement ba ye tie petitions are ekoso ni na ye say emu enye de ma Ghana for but aban no side ne de ye say economy ni betimi etumpon na economy no ejina ne na so na afi no yetimi a industrialize the economy no na afi going forward no yebetimi aye more exporter edimfa so bebre ebebre economy no nti na aban no go through this painstaking exercise all ye emu ye rem kakra de but yanya ne sa enye ye ebia na se ne aban ekwan a offer so eye no na enye Ghana for the aban no etie na supem so obetimi aye den I engage Ghana for dodo na at least ni na yetimi enya the same with same page a yebetimi address ye data ene no amene yen asese no yetimi ye pe kwan bia yebetimi aye den address no na minue ka no bobo nyoma kakra bi so oil fields obo discover here and all that onto de bia no eya finance no eya share the net effect of every transaction as on mine Ghana na wo mu say ye discover and as ye new discoveries but ye share ye community ye plus minus do we gain or do we lose so say na America say it take about $400 million at the refined petroleum product at the bar or mining mu. It is a discover new fields. Yes, ebema uska because o ton crude no. But compared to how much you are importing into the country and net it off and see whether you are losing or you are gaining, that should be the thrust of the discussion. So it's as a sika ebo mining there. Yes, indeed, you discover sika beba. But ye who say ye boka will be so. Yeah, that will be another discussion for another day. So and no ye time we will look at it into details. But maybe AC names of board there to GDP and all that. Yes, indeed. Omowa buy ni muno. Busi omo boy some 120 billion. Abani buy no PJ muko some 347 billion text and so the better so no. But as it stands now, no, these are the things that any good news ma Ghana ye economy. Ama abai na ye den aji opinion say den obesisemu and that is what government is doing. Enti eya distrade abai na ye den at least no say Ghana for share the bigger picture. Obobo economy no ehonto nyoma ekosu nya say economy na say economy nse ye fa GDP is still growing. Even in COVID situations last year, your GDP no a positive outlook. It means still no ejuma cost of businesses and krankwa gusu the pejanumu of education. In the investment in the education sector. Our US so nim senior cycle net here. Semester trimester ni na wom. Abane invested 5.3 billion Ghana cedis Ghana and Kolaso. Equity over 1.2 million children through the senior high school system. There has been a lot of investment in the education sector. So, but any no crampo na measure so because you know there say akoko esa cha akoma cry in effect. That Ghana for any egusu ibehwe na ya sumom na ya serve na did that quality of leadership. Edi ahunhia na ewo Ghana for so no ye be yini nyina efi wono mo na ye ho atoye. Ye hwe ye dis National Cathedral and so ya elkosu you know. Na time news are there but discussions na aba on board na ye the transfer of some money na a call sa GNS talent whatever company yimu na afenu na honorable Samokujo Tube ebe raise allegations no so na ebi no conflict of interest possession of multiple identities and other all these things no ne fapem na ye that transfer of money Cathedral Secretariat no so no abechichi mo mu di nchichi mo ayede abase sika na ekoye no eye top up bia anase payment bia buy senka omode ma contractor no na reverend no ede ne company ne ye den etuaye na afi no omo ma ne refund the do na a conflict of interest. And say hono say bibimpo anko ya. I think there are appropriate channels and can say honorable MP netimi the effort so e dey address the situation. But so the back to Facebook or the back to social media no, what do you stand to gain? So processes were hono Ghana your systems, your approval levels, your control levels, your even so your payment you support with the payment vouchers and all that. If you own why you privy to document as a parliamentarian, then you take the opportunity and bring the document into social media. You don't get that problem solved.
You're Asani.
Yeah, but I see. Many can say education aspect. Free SHS, the number of people. There's a tweet by Yura Aduchum, the Minister of Education. And for some reason, he has admitted. I can assure you, say, in the next 10 years, this country will suffer. Well, I'm not a prophet of doom, but we are churning out students when indeed we are not creating jobs in waiting for them. And that thing will come and haunt us seriously.
You make us say, they say, you know, exercise are binding is geared towards say, me know you are doing but until Ghana for Amboa, so say no, because you are not being a prophet. So it's saying you started echo positive things. Tembiano criticisms, no, a constructive, ye tiena supemu. But so say make us say, when me say, until we industrialize the country, you know, we are not.
Just around the corner here, cantonment. $15 million vice presidential villa. It's a rot. Because the previous government, NSAC, into your jego. Saglemi, ya pro. It's a care of call here rehabilitation. Say a bed sign a call rehabilitation. Yes, into normal, you know, a bed change. And you are going to spend 400 million, whatever it is, for cathedral. The cathedral is an imposition of somebody's own idea and has been hanged on our neck. I mean, as Ghanaians, it is somebody's thinking. Initially, or say a Yonuankasani dream, in this case, it has no connection at all with the ordinary citizen, right? This anka wankasana wu si wade. And now we solicit for funds from the general public. So, a different thing. We would have been happy, both Muslims and Christians and other religions would have been happy to support. And the work was setting up board. But once you have achieved that notion, say it is so-called national, it means that every money that goes into it must be approved by the taxpayer. But in this case, that is not the situation. And it is also wrong and criminal for an individual on a board to loan money or to loan money to a project that belongs to the state. It's wrong. And again, it's conflict of interest and patronage. I am very confident, I said it here before, that's that 2.6 million now or release. I'm sure His Excellency the sitting president called him to thank him for releasing monies for that project. Right? But the money that was paid into JNS talent account came from the controller. And he in turn loaned it to your friend, loaned it to your friend is a cathedral. And the cathedral sent paid it back. It's also a form of money laundering within the system. Into what the man did, I'm happy that it's retried. Everything was wrong. Conflict of interest, criminality in it, in terms of the identification and other things, plus even loaning money to the state. As is you had a zero account and it's coming to. As for the cathedral, master, Obi no dia beshe kon and omo efa ho. Abusia say abusiano Nanado Danko Kufani can Furata Nabusiano. Or would decided something Kukwama, it is binding on cabinet.
Messages be brave where Chile and Kamyanka Mechanic and Sobria be Yemia Baba could be dear Bemu now or Nabe or Baba for the move for them. I mean, cancer on my phone. Was it good evening, Samuel? Was it to be honest? Any MPP communicator or member who comes to defend the MPP government should be stoned to death. And to the person who says, "Era Julius," she was not there. I was here. I had a penny for a penny for a Tom Canadian, Era Julius Juma, MPP Nibama, Yenia, or Fire, NDC, US, NDC, Amanyosem for with the Muntentaman Pass, Anthony Ray or Sanitano, political analysis. Abusia, Yapon, Yesu Christ, Amaneti, Commander Juada, Ibidia. Bye bye.